Hi everyone and welcome. I'm quite nervous today, but there was a topic I wanted us to cover on forgiveness and acceptance. And I wanted us to rewire our hearts, our minds into ways in which we can learn to embrace the art of letting go. Sometimes we sit around for years waiting for people to forgive. We sit around waiting for somebody to tell us they're sorry. We sit around waiting for somebody to hurt, something bad to happen to them so that karma can finally reach them. But the truth is, many times when people wrong us and when we also wrong others, because we do live in a society, we do live in a community. So even when you are done wrong, you may also do wrong unconsciously. And many times people do wrong to us and we do wrong to them from a place of subconscious pain, from a place of subconscious hurt, from a place of jealousy, from a place of bitterness, from a place of that was done to me, so I need to do it to them mentality. And also at the same time, we also need to be cognizant that we are the ones who choose how to react when things go wrong, when people hurt us. So we need to reframe our minds. Look at it from the perspective of what was going through this person's mind when they were doing these things. Look at them in a very 360 degrees, if you can, and if you are able to know their situations. Maybe if they were a sibling, they were dealing with their own issues. Maybe they were a teenager, they were dealing with coming to themselves, they were dealing with knowing who they are. Maybe at home it was not as supportive as they would have wanted. Maybe this is something they had been done to and it was something that was passed down to them. Maybe they didn't know how to stand up for themselves, and so in turn they became bullies because of what other people were doing to them. And so many other things, even at work, people want to, do their thing to show authority or try and trample over somebody so that they can look and feel superior. But the problem is, it's not about you. It's not about what you think they think you've done. It's mainly about them, because when people choose to do the wrong thing, they are choosing it themselves. And there's something that I learned in one of my classes in psychology. It talked about the locus of control. And what I learned, or what was told to me during that class, was that I have the locus of control. If I enter into a car right now and I want to drive, I am the one on the steering wheel. I am the one knowing where I want to go. I am the one knowing if I'm going to veer off the road. I am the one who knows where I'm going to turn left, turn right. And so it is the same way with your life. People will throw all manner of things to you, but it is how you react and how you reframe your thoughts for success. Because you see, when we don't forgive people, we live a life whereby opportunities will pass us. Oh, because so and so did not forgive me, I won't, experience this kind of life. Maybe you went for a solo trip and things turned awry or something happened. And so you say, I will never go to a solo trip ever again. Or if you experience school trauma, like what happens to so many of us here in Kenya, you say, I will never enter that profession. When I hear a parent has hit my child or has done wrong, instead of trying to sit down and ask yourself, okay, my child has said this and this is what happened. My child seemed very hurt by what has happened. Okay, in a calm manner, let me go and ask the teacher what happened. Okay, then I will assess if this went too far. And I will also find a way to validate my child. And also, I will also find a way on the other end to be able to speak to to the teacher or to whoever the complainant is, or the aggressor, in a way that is kind but firm. And so when we reframe our minds from what somebody did to us, we start to look at forgiveness differently. We start to look at forgiveness from a place of, I am the one with the most control. I am the one who will choose what life I want to live next. I am the one who will be conscious of what I do. I will be the one who will choose how I'm going to live afterwards. For example, if you've gone through a traumatic experience as a child, maybe you'll decide, instead of me having to take through another take another child through what had been done to me, let me be the protector of these children. Let me find a way to ensure that the next generation of children become better. Let that child remember me for my kindness, no matter who they are. And you see, that is how we change society by society. And lastly, we also look at forgiveness from a place of how my life can be different moving on. Because unfortunately, we cannot be able to change the past, but we can look at life in the present and seeing how we want our future to be. So, for example, if you had maybe, something was stolen from you, or they did something that was unimaginable to you, instead of you doing it to others, you decide, you know what, I'm not going to, but I'm also going to forgive. And this is how I want my life to be. If you grew up in a home that was not happy, you ensure that you make conscious decisions to ensure that there is happiness in that home. You if you had people ignore you at work, you promise yourself that when you become a leader of anything, that you'll want people's presence to be seen, to be heard, to be felt. And if you never knew how to stand up for yourself, well, this is the time you will start to stand up for yourself without being afraid. Because at the end of the day, the worst has happened. It's the same way in life. We shut up, we keep quiet, we keep silent because we fear the worst. But the worst has already happened because of our silence. So you choose to stand up for yourself, and this is a topic maybe I'll cover in the future, just for us to be able to see what can be able to arise from this. So my encouraging word today is, every day when you wake up and you're still overwhelmed by those things, talk to your God. Talk to that inner child in you who was wounded because of the things that people have done. Talk to God about it. Tell them that this and this hurt, this and this was so wrong, and ask Him to change and transform your life. Number two, make conscious efforts every day. When you feel overwhelmed, write about it. And then also embrace therapy. Go for therapy if you can, if you're able to afford to. Because when we go to therapy, we get an awareness about ourselves, and then we start to reframe and make decisions that become better for the people who are under us or the people who are around us. And it transforms the way we think about things. It transforms how we look at different life events. And it gives us the inner peace and resilience to be able to know that, you know what, even though this and this happened, I'm going to be all right. And finally, you choose to create a new life for yourself. Choose to just be okay. Just say, okay, this and this happened, and I have forgiven them. I will forgive them, and I will continue to forgive them. Because forgiveness is not a one time event. Today you'll tell God, I forgive them, and you mean it. And then the next day you wake up and you remember what they did, or they do something wrong. And then you start to wonder, I said I'm going to forgive them, but why is this so hard? And that's when now, again, you step and repeat. You go back and you pray for them. You go back and wish them well. You go back and look at what they had done. You go back and reframe your thoughts. And also at the same time, if you're in environments which are particularly hard, it's also imperative that you find a way to leave. If you're in a home that does not foster you better even look for a single room or even a bed sitter, whatever it is that's going to make you comfortable enough. If you are, of course, of age and able to. Sometimes distance helps with the forgiveness process. And even if you cannot go back to being friends with such and such a person, wish them well and go about your life. Go about your life with easiness, with lightness, with happiness, because you owe the best to your life. You owe your life just good and wondrous things. And then you also owe your life a chance to make things happen for you, and you owe yourself the best. So thank you very much for just watching this, and we see you hopefully in the next video. Bye.